morning, everybody. Welcome.
Good morning.
Woohoo! Your live call-in Moco shop leaving great big screen loving. How y'all doing this morning? Yeehaw! I am your Texas card dude. We're here with Big Jeff. How are you doing, sir?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm better than I deserve. See, there he is, right there. There he is. Woohoo! What's up, Rex?
I don't know how you're feeling. Being out there in the Texas land. I don't know if you're an Astros fan or not. I don't know if you're still feeling those effects or if you weren't really ever a fan. But it's good to see the Braves pull that off and take it. I have a little bit of a connection with that team just due to the fact that my boy Eddie Rosario, who was that MVP in that previous series, was a former Twin, came up through the Twins. So it's good to see that kid get a ring. Good to see that team. Good to see Solar get a ring. I mean, a lot of guys that came around, Jock Peterson, just awesome, man. And then the guys that have been with the team forever, and even Acuna for having such a monster start to the season and playing such a big role in the earlier wins for that team, to be able to see other players kind of put him on the back while he's on the sidelines there recovering from an injury. So congratulations to all the Braves fans out there, Braves Nation. And other than that, what's good? What's going on?
Man, I am not a Trash Stros fan.
No,
I'm a Texas Ranger fan. And let's qualify it. So Texas Ranger fans loved the Astros in the 80s and 90s, the Bregman, that era. Yes, sure. We love the Astros. Yep. But now, no, they're your ugly sister that you don't want to deal with. So but here's the deal though, because they're from Texas, yep. I can call my sister ugly, but you can't call my sister ugly. Know what I mean?
Yeah, what I mean? Yeah.
Unless you're throwing trash cans on there for them. So we're missing somebody.
Yeah.
We're missing somebody. And he's in timeout is what it is because he's late.
Yeah. No, I'm not sure what to. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
What's up, Brad?
How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Hey, we thought maybe you were trying to sneak a little pack rip in quick live on Twitter or something before you got on live. You figure you would just roll it right through, like slide on in, like you slide into someone's DMs, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. What's good?
Big time in this. I see how it is.
Yeah,
I see how it is.
Youngster trying to put some work in on us.
I know. Good grief! You think you were something special? Golly. You knew you weren't going to get away with it just trying to slide in. Come on now.
Right.
Don't make us start in with the dad jokes. Don't make us start in with
dad jokes. No dad jokes for Brody.
No dad jokes. He said for Brody.
So what's up with your world, Brody? What's up with your world?
Not much. Back to school, so I've been pretty busy. And now basketball's starting, so I'm going to be really, really busy. But Daily Rip will still be coming out. Whenever I can film my show, it'll always be coming out. And whenever I can do Hobby Hotline, I'll be here, usually on Saturdays. But I don't know my schedule for basketball and stuff. So it's different every weekend. So you kind of just have to play it by ear.
You're playing, right?
Yeah, basketball and baseball, but obviously off season for baseball because you can't play a whole year in Illinois. Because if you played all around the year in Illinois, you'd freeze your butt off, and then that would not be good.
Yeah, down here they play all the way through. They pretty much play all the way through, except for January through probably about March or April. But I've been golfing on Christmas Day before. In shorts. So,
oh my goodness, that's why all the baseball prospects come from places like Florida and Texas and
same as football. Yeah, because I've talked about this before. Like, down south and all the southern states, like it's a year-round thing. It's not a season. It's not a season thing. It's year-round. So,
now do you play center? or do you play? What do you play?
Well, it depends which team I'm on. For my school team, I'll probably be a power forward because we have a really, really tall kid that's like almost
How
6.
tall are you, Brody?
I'm like 5'9.5", I think.
Okay.
All right, so Brody's taller than Texas Card Dude. Okay.
Well, I think
Still
everyone's
got a little bit
taller
on
than
you, but I don't. I figure you'll grow past me soon. My son's 18 and he's just like 6'2", 6'3", so he's already way beyond me. So yeah, I'm used
Yeah,
to
I'm
it.
getting close to my dad too, and he doesn't like that.
Okay, so who wins at hoops? You or your dad?
Me, easily.
Like you didn't even say, not even like a step, Jeff. It was like me.
Right?
Since he's still like an inch and a half taller than me, he just tries to back into me. So like, okay,
He
we have
tries
a
to use
point.
that weight. He pushes his weight around, pushing weight.
Yeah,
You need to tell your old man every time he does it. You go, stop trying to push weight around here.
I'm like,
So hit me with your dad bod, Dad.
Yeah.
yeah, and then I'm fine. You can have the point, and then we check up, and then I shoot a 3 and it goes in, so it doesn't even
Yeah.
matter. So who cares?
Jeez.
Because if he tries to play up on me, he's probably gonna fall on his butt, and that would not be good for him either.
Right.
I don't want to go to the hospital over a 1v1 with my dad. So
Yeah.
I see him over there. He's laughing pretty hard. So I don't think
I didn't know if it was your dad or your mom, so I was trying to
There you go.
investigate to figure out who is recording you this morning.
We got the insights. We got the back behind the scenes.
There we go. That means at least one dad joke at some point. I'm going
There
to
you
sneak
go.
it in. So don't just
Oh boy,
get ready. At some point,
he's excited about the dad joke now, though. So
oh well, let's see. We got Dan. Of course, we got Moko. We got Logan. And then Diego's trying to get us onto cards, but I'm kind of derailing us with our basketball talk. What do you want to talk about
Well, there's
first?
nothing
brother?
wrong with basketball talk. Seeming basketball is in season as well, and for you card collectors, that should be something that is popping interest, and you should be seeing, the market on the basketball side continue to increase as these players continue to mash. I mean, if there's one guy that would stick out right now, if I was to tell you guys that, some people may be calling this a fluke, but I don't think so. Miles Bridges for the Hornets has been on a absolute tear. I think he's averaging over like 30 points a game right now. Like he showed sparks throughout the last season or two. Like there'd be glimpses of game here or there, but he seems like he is just kind of taking over. You got Ball there, but Ball's kind of that guy that's just getting the rock to him and he's doing what he wants to do with it. And he's his athleticism. I mean, his build, he's strong. He can jump.
mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude can fly out of the arena. I mean, we've seen it. He has had some nasty dunks in his young career so far. So if I were to talk about somebody in the NBA right now, and a guy that I would say that you might want to keep an eye on and maybe start buying in on some, that would be somebody like a Miles Bridges, because you can get his stuff cheap right now. And if this isn't a fluke, and sometimes people say fluke, whatever, but you got to remember, like, we're into the season now, 6, 7, 8, 9 games in, depending upon how many of these teams have played. And he's been steady there since. Some of these young guys in that offseason, most of them are all working out, but some of them take it to a different level because they want to be that star. They want to be the greatest. They want to be the best. And you wonder if that's not something like this with Miles Bridges, just to mention a name out there. Everybody always Lonzo Ball or LaMelo Ball, LaMelo Ball, the Hornets.
Ball.
It's
Lonzo
his
Ball's
team.
playing pretty good too for the
Yeah,
Bulls.
he is playing great. Yeah, Lonzo Ball is playing awesome. I mean, the Bulls, I think a lot of people looking at the Bulls on paper this year thought, they're probably the team that's going to be hard to beat. And I think that's for real. They went out and got Vooch. They got DeMar DeRozan. Dude, they got the killer Caruso. Don't underestimate my boy Alex Caruso. That kid's a stud. The sixth man. He might get sixth man of the year this year. He might just do that coming off that bench, keeping that team in check while the starters get the rest. So, man, a Awesome, man. It's good to have the NBA back. I mean, I looked at the score on my Timberwolves. They were like blowing the socks off the Clippers early in the game, and then I look and I see the final score, and they lost by like 15 or 20 points. So I don't know what's going on there, but my boy Anthony Edwards continues to look great.
Yeah.
It kind of seems to be that Cat and Edwards are going to be the two studs there. Russell's had some good games. It's supposed to be a Cat and Russ show for Minnesota, but it looks like Ant's taking that over with Cat. So it's going to be interesting to see what this kid continues to do as well. So
yeah, Edwards is playing really good. I think the Timberwolves are a potential 7 or 8 seed.
I would hope so, man. They beat the Bucks in Milwaukee last week. So
yeah, Edwards is playing really good, and like you said, Towns and Russell as well. But Jordan Poole on the Warriors just had, I think, 24 yesterday. He's averaging like 18 or 19 points a game. And you could probably find rookie cards for him in dollar bids.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Romeo Langford on the Celtics, another guy you could probably find cards of for $1. He's been playing a lot for the Celtics. I think he played 27 minutes the other day. Like, he's playing a lot off the bench, doing pretty good. I
got one for you.
Oh,
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
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 I've always thought he was going to be a surprise. He also looked pretty good.
Yeah, he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, he's been playing great.
He can't do anything, so he's playing really good. Dallas got a problem because they've got. What do they do with him? Do they leave him up with the ones or put him down with the twos? So they got a problem in that right there for KP. So KP's giving him a fit. So there's my basketball knowledge. Is I follow the Mavericks. I don't follow everybody else. It's just the Mavs.
Right.
But
man.
The Bulls, man. They this is the first time really in my life that I think that they are really good. The DeMar DeRozan was the other player I was going to mention. He's averaging, I think, 27 points a game, and he is just money from mid-range. He doesn't take that many threes. If he's wide open, he will, but his moves in the mid-range and the paint, he's a baller, man. He didn't have the Spurs didn't really help him out too much because, well, sorry, San Antonio Spurs fans, but you guys are the Spurs and you're not that good anymore.
Right.
Oh, dang. Brody
they got some young talent, though. They do have a lot of young talent.
Yeah, now they're getting back on track. But DeRozan and Zach LaVine, who's been here for 4.
LaVine, I love LaVine, man. Another guy coming from Minnesota. I kind of shout out the Braves with Eddie Rosario, man. Another guy that Minnesota drafted, the former dunk champion, dude. Like, LaVine's the dude, man.
Mm-hmm. And then you have Vooch too.
Yeah.
And the center, who's an absolute stud, but doesn't even get to do that much because of the other guys that are there.
Yeah, he doesn't really have to. He's just got to get the boards, man. The rebounds. Just be down low and get those offensive and defensive rebounds. Either put it back up if it's there or kick it back out to somebody and let him pop a 3. Mm-hmm. So I like that Diego there, man. I think me and Diego get along real well. He said, I look for the fantasy points, tends to inspire who I want to buy. And that's honestly, if you're a daily or a season-long fantasy player, that's one great way to kind of keep tabs on, without even having to watch all the games or keep tabs on all the games, just checking your scores, checking your DFS deals. I've been playing DFS for over 8 years daily. I play every day. I was telling Brad, I was late getting on myself. Well, I was still here before the show started, so I wasn't technically late, but I was late getting on the normal because I had to get my college football lineup set up before they lock because I wouldn't have time to do it during the show. So playing every sport. But, yeah, that's one big thing, too. If you're into fantasy sports, keeping tabs on what these guys are doing because that's usually going to be a big, big reflection to what they're doing in the card side. I mean, if they're blowing up, if they're having monster games, chances are they're catching the eye of people, whether they've been watching the games or they play fantasy sports. So that's another great comment out there from Diego. So we appreciate that. But man,
I do fantasy baseball and fantasy. I do fantasy baseball. Hey, what's up, Herman? I do fantasy baseball simply for that reason, because you can check really, really deep stats. You can check, and I know most people don't like this, but WAR and WHIP in fantasy stats will give you a pretty good indicator of those who are performing well on the field. And then that will translate, I mean, either immediately or you can really find those hidden gems through fantasy sports, especially in baseball where it's a long season, hockey where it's a long season, sludging through the mid, digging into those stats, man. You can really find some real good hidden gems
Right.
within fantasy sports. So
Right.
it kind of mirrors one another where, yes, it's a beating, especially in the longer football, 17 games, 17 weeks, nothing, but baseball, basketball, using those stats, you can, and the young guys as well. I mean, you'll be able to see in the short if a guy gets like a 10-game stretch or a 5-game stretch or whatever, it'll really highlight that. It'll really highlight that.
So Canton Card Collector said, isn't Ja Morant averaging over 20 points per game? Yeah, and that's another thing. But I mean, I don't know that Ja is as big of a surprise, right? Because he kind of was great last year. I mean, he continues to improve. But here's one big thing that reflects that as well. His point totals and his peripherals should continue to go up because J-Val is gone now, right? They actually traded with the Pels for Steven Adams. They did a swap. Steven Adams doesn't give you really much of anything on the peripheral side besides the rebounding, right? He's a big bro, get inside, get those rebounds. He might put up, points. He's getting them inside the paint. That's pretty much what he's going to do for you. So with J-Val being gone, that's now giving more peripherals to someone like Ja Morant, Bain, who's another name to keep an eye on, Desmond Bain or Desmond Bain, whatever, however you want to pronounce it.
There too.
Yeah. But J-Val, he's on a monster start. He's been just tearing it up for the Pels, knocking down threes. I mean, just a monster. The dude's been on fire. Talk about fantasy. Dude's been on fire, man. If you got him in your fantasy season long or you're playing him, he's been almost a near lock at center position on a lot of these slates. So
and then this is a great great question. It kind of goes into the same from Dan. Do you think the sports market is more anticipatory or reactionary in nature? I think the answer to that question is yes. I mean, and we're talking about fantasy sport. It's a great way to anticipate. It's a great way to look at the young kids in the stats. It's a great way to look at Hall of Famers. Who can consistently, because you can take the fantasy stats over the past 5 years and do aggregation. And then reactionary, boy, if somebody has a great game and they shoot up in the ranks, I think that answer to that question is yes. What do you think, Brody?
Yeah, I agree. Sorry. I agree for sure with both. With both of those. It depends on how you look about it too, and what you think is going to happen, and if you wait or if you take a risk on somebody. Another guy, Cole Anthony, has been playing.
You know my nickname for Cole Anthony, Brody? J. Cole.
I like it. Okay.
He looks just like J. Cole.
He's been playing really, really good. He's averaging like 19, 7.5, and 5.5. He's been playing really good. But Brad, I just got to say, you mentioned fantasy baseball. You're talking about it, and you mentioned WAR. You know what I think about WAR in baseball, Brad?
Give it to me.
I hate WAR. It doesn't make sense. Look at WHIP, ERA, batting average, on base percentage. Who cares about WAR? OPS is stupid. No WAR, no OPS, ERA, WHIP, average, on base. Done. That's all I need. WAR is stupid. If a guy has 0 WAR, Hall of Fame if they have a 300 batting average.
DVP is also a very, very overused statistic too, especially on fantasy side, because in the game, think about a game like basketball, right? How often are players setting screens on each other? Like, it's very rare. I mean, they are matched up against each other, but the amount, if you were to take the time of a player, actually a defensive player matched up to a certain player, start game or whatever, however they match it up, it's not as crazy as you'd think it was. So that's one thing that I like to typically, I'm not a big fan of, or I don't really look at when I'm trying to
All right,
choose on
Diego,
where I'm
I'll
going.
say it again. War is stupid. It is stupid. I don't like war.
I like war because, the reason why I like war is because it's a good anticipatory. It gives you a chance to take a look at maybe future, not necessarily for right now. So I get your point. I get your point. In like a day-to-day, war means nothing, but it's an anticipatory of what might happen. But I love war.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
besides the questions like what and the most question I've probably asked to my dad about something is, how do you calculate war? I don't understand war. I don't get how it works. I've never understood. And then
Isn't
he
it
calls
pi
me a
divided by
math-
3?
Yeah. Well, it's just an anticipatory of if you add or subtract a person to a team. I don't know the mathematics behind it, but I just know that's and it's an anticipatory fact. And then so yes.
So a lot of Jonathan Taylor lock, a lot of Jonathan Taylor talk, and
I know.
for much due on fantasy side. Yes, again, when we're talking if we're talking, so this is one good example of where hobby wise maybe and fantasy wise they don't really correlate as well, right? Because running backs they get some attention in the hobby, but I saw somebody else comment earlier about the quarterbacks. Where the value really is, or where the want is in most cases, where that high value is those quarterbacks, right? So who's gonna be a guy like this week once we found out that somebody didn't get vaccinated, whether you're about it or not about it, and somebody got that COVID, it came down. Who was the guy that you saw all over the timelines on your social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, whatever? You saw other people posting Jordan Love, right? Jordan Love's getting a start this week due to Aaron Rodgers being out. So it's a big thing on what does he do? Well, if he has a big game, again, that's going to be a spot that more people are going to be chasing after. Now, Jonathan Taylor, he's a monster. He's a great player. He's an awesome athlete. He's a great fantasy stud, and he has been this year. And he gets you that rush ability and that catch ability. But the problem with it is running backs, most guys aren't big on the running back thing because running backs are
one
a
hit
thing
and
where
they're done.
they're a few years, right? They're a few years, or they're by committee, or they're whatever, and then they move on. A great quarterback has a career who plays for 10, 12, 14, Brady 20 years, whatever it might be, right? The GOAT. That's where that difference is. There's so many injuries lingering. Running backs get hurt a lot more. They get the knee injuries. They get the ACL tears, etc. So, yes, Taylor's been a fantasy monster, but on the hobby side, that's not where it would correlate as much. There would be a little bit of uptick because he's doing awesome, more interest, but it's not a huge interest like a difference between like a Jordan Love, right?
Well,
starting
the game has changed though
to a Jonathan Taylor. What's
the
that?
game has changed. The game has changed. It's not
Yes.
the 90s ground and pound where you have Emmett, Barry, Terrell Davis. You don't have the guys that can run between the tackles 20 to 30 times a game. The athletes today aren't designed to do that. So
right.
And the offensive lines aren't designed to do that. They're not designed to run between the tackles. They're more outside or screens or cutbacks or something like. There's not the straight dives. There's not the fullback dives. There's not the 12s, the 13s, and you who played football, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The 22s, the 32s. You don't have those running through. So you don't get that Emmitt Smith, that I'm trying to think, Barry Sanders or the guys that are just through the hole in the Marion Barbarian. You don't have guys like that anymore, nor do you have those long, prolonged because with those cutbacks and those running in the
Right.
outsides and one-on-ones, what's a guy if I'm facing a guy that's 4 times my size, the only option I got is cutting his legs out. Well, that
Right.
leads to leg problems, to knee problems. The game's just completely changed. You can't, it's spread everybody out. Go ahead, Jeff.
And one thing I want to touch on too, I see Derrick Henry out, so it's a great example of those running backs. But
Yes.
I want to touch on something that's not really even just, and I think we're seeing more and more of this, right? As the game continues to, in all sports, continues to advance, as sports medicine advances, as the physicality advances, these guys get bigger. Are you guys noticing that more players that are bulkier, that are bigger, that are more muscular, Zion Williams, Mike Trouts, Derrick Henrys, a lot of these running backs, guys that are more muscular built, like bigger built, stronger guys? We're seeing a lot of these injuries and a lot of these things that linger on. And I think, I'm not like a sports medicine specialist, but I do believe that these guys that are putting on this tons of muscle mass and they're just on these bodies, it's wearing and tearing on their ligaments and their joints and stuff. And that's where you're seeing these guys when they cut and they're doing these things and they're 280 pounds, 6'2", 280, 290, and they're cutting, they're tearing ligaments and they're doing that because that muscle mass is wearing on them. Zion Williamson running up and down the court. He's a beast. He's a monster, right? But he's jumping up and then he's landing and he's got all this mass on his joints and his ligaments. They're running up. I mean, that's got to wear on a person's body. You see these guys that are not as muscular and not as built, more balanced, seem to stay healthier more often.
Derrick Henry got hurt, as we talked about. Nick Chubb got hurt too. I mean, I agree. But I want to ask you, what is your perfect fantasy team, Jeff? I want to see with this. I want to hear it from you because
my perfect fantasy lately. So, in what sport?
Football. The perfect team.
So, if I were to build a perfect fantasy football team right now, I'm going to start with Josh Allen at quarterback. I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to take Aaron Jones as well. As those are my 2 running backs. My receivers, I'm going to take Devonta Adams. I'm going to take, let's see. I mean, if there's no salary, I mean, are we salary? Are we looking at like a salary deal here?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Devonta Adams, I'm going to take a speedster like a Tyreek Hill as well. So I have that speed. And then I want a good slot. I want a really solid slot stud. So someone who's playing right now likes somebody like a Cole Beasley. Tight end, I'm going to probably go with somebody like a Waller or like a Ertz Goddard. And then, I mean, defense is kind of a flip of a coin. It's all matchup based, right? Each week, your best bet. So, I mean, how did I do? What do you rate my build there?
I think it's a solid 8.5. I think that's pretty good.
I'm looking at guys that I feel can stand and can stay and can more than likely stay healthy as well. We can all go after somebody like a Derrick Henry, but we see what happens. The injuries come, the injuries lag, So
I think I would go.
Kupp was a guy that I missed, but he's kind of throwing me on the spot here. Obviously, I would probably honestly replace Kupp with Tyreek Hill. So I'd do Adams, Kupp, and then I'd want a really good, really solid slot. So like a Beasley. So
I'd probably go Lamar Jackson, Nick Chubb, Jonathan Taylor, Devonta Adams, Kupp. Tight end, I'd probably go Waller too, just because Carr likes to throw it to him like 30 times a game.
Mm-hmm.
Flex, I'd probably honestly go DeAndre Hopkins if I was somehow able to get him, because I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is just an absolute beast. And like you said, defense is week to week. I'm going Younghoe Koo. I don't care if the Falcons are terrible. Younghoe Koo is
yes,
absolute money. I love that guy to death. Younghoe Koo is an absolute beast.
I got him on my team.
Me too.
My team too.
My 6-2 team. So
dude, I'm 1-4. Don't ask me I got the injury bug. I got Saquon Barkley. I got, let's see, every known player that could get hurt. My number one quarterback is Russell Wilson. Yeah, I mean, like, this is the worst fantasy season. I'm about to be 1-7. Everybody who I picked up has been hurt. I even had Justin Jefferson. He got hurt last week. I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah.
So somebody had a question, or Canton Card Collector asked, does Zion's weight concern you long term? Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're already seeing this, right? I talked about this in the Playmaker podcast I do every Monday night. We talked about the weight issues and some of this mass stuff and whatever. And the problem is, again, when the kid got drafted, right? What were they doing? What was the talk about when he was drafted? They were teaching him how to run and walk and jog differently, like how to work his weight, like with his weight, to probably keep less stress and stuff on the joints and the ligaments and stuff. I mean, a lot of that stuff we sit here and we think, why are we talking about? But it's reality. It's why things like this happen. I mean, that's, if you guys want to know, I mean, it's great to have a big beast of a guy, but at the end of the day, is it really worth it to have that on your team if they have to sit out however many games or however many weeks, or,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, a guy, if you guys anyone watches college basketball, Luka Garza from Iowa was the player of the year, but he got picked 55th or whatever, and because he was too big and people were worried about him not having the condition. But then he lost 50 pounds and now he's playing pretty good in the NBA. He took the right approach. Now he's playing good.
Actually, the guy I would have in my flex is Antonio Brown.
That's a good pick.
Yeah.
I was also thinking Alvin Kamara too, because I actually have him on my team. I got the number 1 overall pick. Last year I had it too, and I went Christian McCaffrey, and I regretted it. Then I traded him because I'm like, he's hurt, whatever.
Right.
I traded him, and then he comes back. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And then this year, I'm like, I'm not picking Christian McCaffrey because he's going to get hurt again. No, he did. So I guess I worked out there.
So this is my ESPN team. I'm 6-2. I should be 7-2, but I had Cook and Eckler on buys at the same week, and I don't have great secondary running backs. This was an auction. It's a big boy auction league we've been doing every year. But I have Stafford, Dalvin Cook, Austin Eckler, Kupp, Jacoby Myers, Goddard, Antonio Brown, Bills defense, and Koo. That's like my starting team there. So
good.
All right. Let's see.
Hey, Dad, can you give me my fantasy team?
Here we go.
What up, boss?
Saquon Barkley.
Derrick Henry is going to break Dickerson's record this year, but the record will stand another season unless Jay Taylor keeps killing it. Yeah, call me crazy, but TB12 would be my. Yeah, no, I mean you're right, Diego. I guess I'm just thinking like that's probably the best possible pick, but I'm just thinking of like if I'm building it today, like he's still got a few seasons in him. But I'm thinking about trying to solidify a team on like another 10 years, right? 12 years, whatever.
Yeah.
So not all those guys would stick. Obviously, your running backs are going to probably come and go, and you're going to probably lose a receiver here or there with injury or whatever. But that's kind of where I think where we all stand. But yeah, the Dickerson thing, yeah, I mean, Jonathan Taylor, it'll be interesting to see if he can continue to keep it up. I mean, it's going to be.
Well, you've also got an extra game in here now that you're
right.
like, so, that's. And when they went from 10 to 12, everybody said the same thing. So I know Brody doesn't remember 10-game season, but when they went from 10 to 12, and then now, as they've gone up, everybody said, everybody said it. So let's flip. Rex actually asked, a question. So I want to make sure that we went back to it. And, I did read this, and it's actually at the very top of the comments. I will post it as well at the end of the link to it. But did you guys get a chance to read through Josh Luber's white paper on the card industry? It's a long.
I did not. Really honest with you, Brad, and say no.
I didn't either. I mean, I can kind of get. I mean, I don't believe I can guess exactly. I mean, it's obviously on. What happened to a lot of it was the trading, right? What happened to everybody trading? Is that kind of the big thing? Wasn't there something about the what happened trading in the hobby or something like that? Wasn't that kind
Well,
of the
it
key
gives a
cue?
very overall in the beginning of like it kind of goes through it's a true white paper. It is a true white paper, and he said
Yeah,
he spent 4 months writing it. Um, it goes through the history of, as well as the 90s. Brody's, it might be an interesting read. I mean, it's a little long, but it's an interesting read about the history of cards, and then it goes into the statistical of last year, 2019, 2020, 2021. I'm not going to rehash it. Everybody knows what happens, but it gives a good
right,
analysis of that. And then, paraphrasing again, he goes through how the sneaker market is very similar to the card market. And then he starts showing examples of that. And he basically likens the card market in the future to the sneaker market now, and the card market is probably 5 to 7 years behind the sneaker market. And his opinion is that that's a good thing, that you see those similarities, and then there's room for growth. What my key takeaway from this is, and everybody can take different things from everything that they read, but
right.
my key take on this is he understands that flooding the market with product and running the printing presses uh, and just turning everything on is not a good thing. But like the saying says, variety is the spice of life. So I get the feeling that similar to a prism set now, where there's going to be a lot of different variations and a lot of choices, you're not going to get the printing presses run on a lot of different variations and a lot of choices. So I enjoyed the read, and I can share the conclusion if y'all want to see it. But the it's just a long. I'm looking for it. I've got 50 deals. There it is. Let's see. The virtuous flywheel continues, driving higher prices. Market conditions allow, bringing more business efficiencies, bigger dollars, boosting prices. The long and short is the hobby is going to be healthy, and everything's going to be okay. But he's gonna do everything to pull everything in and do masterminds and all this other. Um,
Hey, Victor, that is posted at the top
yeah, I'll put it
top
in.
of the
I'll put it in the
comments.
link as
I'll
well.
post it again here for you as well.
Yeah, I will. I will here in 2 seconds. I've just got multi tabs.
So, a question for you both. In regards, because I think they touched on some of this. Some of this whole article was touched on. Wasn't it something about what happened to kind of the trading side of things? Everybody buy, buying things, whatever. If you guys are not at a show, both Brad and Brady, how often are you guys actually trading cards?
That's not a great question for me, because that's my job. So it's probably a better question for. Or
Brody?
yeah, that's actually a great question for put it in the comments. How
Yeah,
often do
you
you
guys let us know. But Brody, what's your answer for that?
I do trade some, but usually just with kids. If I'm buying anything from adults, I usually buy. Um, yeah, I don't do trades that much. Once in a while
See,
with some kids, but
and I also wonder if part of this, and I could be wrong here, but I also wonder if part of this, not as much trading. There's like a lot of people within like my card community that watch me, follow me, whatever, and then people within the community that a lot of them will, unless this is like just some insanely highly valued card, like if people PC certain players or teams, whatever, a lot of times we're just sending them, like racking them or sending them. So I
yeah,
mean, you could almost call it somewhat a trade, but it's not really a trade, like because we're not saying, hey, you have to send me back this, whatever. We send somebody out a package with a bunch of stuff, and then you might get something back later from them or whatever. Hey, you sent me all this stuff. This is awesome. I know you
yeah,
like these teams here. I get that every so often. So I almost wonder or feel if a lot of the trading side of things, like within a lot of these, because there's a lot of card communities out there. I know there is. And within those communities, if, that's more done in a different way, more as like a rack term, again, not saying, hey, I'm sending you these cards, you have to send me back this. But at the end, a lot of people like to do that deed back, right? They receive something, they get something. The person's not expecting it in return, but yet they feel like they want to, or they feel like they should send something back to them. So,
well, that's a great example. I mean, we talked about this earlier off air. I opened up, one of my friends sent me 4 boxes of Prism blasters, Prism Baseball 2021 blasters. So I opened them live, and as I was opening them live, a couple of the guys said, "Hey, I like those cards. How much do you want for them?" Well, they were a gift to me, so I turned around and I just sent them right. I mean, I sent the Braves to Herman. I sent 3 or 4 guys cards just because they're gifted to me. I mean, sure, go ahead. I mean, to me, that makes more sense. I just got a cut card because I love cut cards. I'll get Ranger cards. I'll get the rack. I think is now the new quote unquote trading type thing where I know if there's guys that I know that collect White Sox. There's guys that I know that collect, and if I come across an interesting card, shoot, I mean, I do card of the day, and I'm trying to think of who from my dad's old collection. I pull those cards, and if somebody says, "Hey, like I sent the Cubs card to Bo, 1 million. I did a Braves card, or just that's the new trading. I think.
Our boy Logan says, "I trade with friends and buy from strangers." Sounds sketchy, right? That's pretty much how it is, though, right? That's pretty much how it goes. And then Diego has a good point too. I will also buy from others. I think what he says in here, if I need, I will put it in your stack. I'll put in your stack is a line I think that is used quite often in the hobby, right?
Yeah.
Within the communities. So, I like that card, or I see that, or whatever. Just like you going through stuff if you're live, or you're doing I love that, or you do a video you upload and someone posts in there. I love that card. It's not something that's to them, or they don't PC that open it, whatever. Okay, I'll put it in your stack. You got a stack, or I'll start a stack. I'll start you a stack if you don't already have a stack. Like those are some key words that are used nowadays in the hobby. So interesting point, Diego. Very good, very good.
Yeah, I sent the Montcastle to Tom Tippett, who's dear, long time friend of mine. That he said, "Hey, I want the Montcastle," so I sent him the Montcastle. So just other deals.
And another thing too, like if you are somebody who really wants to try to push a trade type deal where it's actually specifically trade, Balls brings up a good point. He would love to see more trade threads on Twitter or any other social media platform. So whatever platform you prefer to be on, or if you're on them all, I mean, you yourself could start that thread, right?
Yeah.
You yourself could start that trend, if you will. Like you guys could, hey, anybody up for starting a trade deal or a trade something or whatever? I mean, you could be the one that starts that. You don't always have to be a follower. Go out there and be the leader.
Yeah, please. I mean, just understand there's so much to do so much cool things to do in the hobby. I think I'm going to do that this week, Jeff. I'm going to write that down. I'm going to take that action item and I'm going to pick out 1 or 2 of those cards. And I'm just going to say, "Hey, here's a card. Anybody interested? Let's do a trade."
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Just trade. Just do a couple of trades.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I like the trade aspect of it. I think that something I enjoy doing it with other kids for sure. But my 3 main takes, I really had 2, but then I saw Brad's comment in the Hobby Hotline chat about that he said that the 90s cards were related to the 1917 Russian Revolution, which I thought was pretty funny because I'm literally learning about that in class right now. So I thought that was kind of funny.
There you go.
Number 2 is Alan Ginter X.
Yeah.
Topps Finest Flashbacks.
Oh.
Topps Chrome Light. But how did I get these boxes? 2018 Christmas, I open an envelope and it's the 582 Montgomery membership. And at the time, I was trying to be excited, but in my head, I'm like,
What
the
is
heck
this?
this? Why didn't they get me a box? I get this membership. I don't know. I mean, I was 9 or 10. I was really confused, but I'm gonna miss this. This is how someone like me is able to get this stuff, because I could actually afford it because they put it at a more fair price. I mean, Flashbacks was expensive, but Allen Against Rex was only like $100, so it was a lot easier. And number 3, it doesn't really seem like there's a plan for kids. Like,
I
my
agree.
dad read some of the article. Was at practice and stuff, and he said there wasn't much about kids. And I think that he's the main part of what he's been focusing about is high end, high end, high end.
Yes.
And I think he's got to address something about kids and families that aren't rich. I'm not rich. I mean, so I don't know. We'll see. I mean, obviously I'll be like 17 or 18 then, and I might have a job, so that's might be how I can get some cards.
You're doing your job now. What are you talking about?
It's funny that you say that too.
Hey,
like no plan for kids, but
they call and aggravate Brad.
yeah,
He just caught that.
right.
How long has that been up there?
Probably since the 30-minute mark.
I want to touch on something too with the whole trading thing, and I think a big portion is you've seen so much of the hobby go to such a high end, right? Like Slab City is basically what it is now, right? We got our new Slab City, not just the one in whatever state that is. That's got that lawless city they call Slab City, but you got the new Slab City and you got all the high end stuff, right? So I think a thing that makes it very difficult for a lot of people is how do you value, right? So how do you value the cards? Like, you can go to the eBay comps, and then you're trying to trade with somebody and people are going, well, but this one sold at this time for this, this one sold, out of season, in season. There's so many fluctuations on values. And I think that makes it more difficult the more high end you get, right? Mm-hmm. If it's smaller stuff, smaller PC stuff, just team love, whatever, player love, that's not slab, that's not high end, whatever. I think it's a lot easier, to do a actual like trade. But if we're talking higher end stuff, is it going to be easy to come to a fair conclusion on a trade? Like, what is this really fair for each person, or is somebody going to constantly be like, no, that I don't see my card at that value, or I don't see that one that I want from you at that value. So there's some things in there nowadays with that fluctuation of price and stuff too, and the higher end stuff. So just some other things to think about.
He makes a great comment, but I think, and I don't know the hearts of men, so I don't suppose to know. My analysis or what I felt is that he was trying to use the high-end market statistics as a sample throughout the entire card. I know it doesn't work a lot,
right,
but you can see the ebbs and flows, and the higher end filter down to the lower end, even though it takes time. So I'm like you. I didn't like that he was just using the 50 index, but you gotta start somewhere. I mean, you can't.
right.
The data's. What are you going to use? eBay comps to. I mean, how those are volatile and all over the place at 1 minute to the next. So there's not a good judge for the low end market. So I guess that's how he's going to. You got to start somewhere. So I agree with both sides. I just think there's not a great way to represent the lower end market, the 99 cent to even $20 card market. It's really tough and really volatile to say, because my card to me is worth $20. To Brody, it may be worth 50 cents because it's a Ranger card. So
right.
you never, who knows? Or we all could want to just burn them because they're Astro cards.
Well, Why don't we talk about how shops need to protect their boxes, or let's talk about the story that happened with the bullpen
All right,
in
let's
California.
talk about that because I actually put together. Let's talk about that. And there's
Yeah, I think
if you read
I
the
actually met the owner of it at the National. I introduced to him. Um, that I think that we're at the point where the hobby is almost like jewelry for crying out loud. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
we might need security guards on there. Like shops might if they. I mean, some not all shops have 0304 exquisite lying around like they did, but you might need security at night because stuff's so expensive. I mean, that list that they put out, that's a lot of stinking money, a lot.
Right.
The math, I couldn't even the math of that. I mean, 0304 exquisite, 17
Wow.
flawless case, national treasures. Like I don't even know that that's a lot of money. And there's probably a ton of stuff that they didn't even take that's worth a lot too, because there was all this stuff. So it's almost like jewelry. I think we're gonna need security guards all night. You're gonna have to hire someone because it's just getting too crazy. I mean, 4 years ago, if you had a security card in your store, you that people would definitely know you had some pretty high end stuff. But I think we're coming to that point. I
You know,
mean,
another thing to add that they could look at possibly doing too, and this wouldn't help anything previously made or printed, but both cases, boxes, and even the cards themselves, you know, a graded slab card pretty much has a serial number, right? Because it has
right,
the graded number, but almost having a serial number stamped on all
yes,
cards, on actual cards, stamped on them, on cases, on packs, on boxes, and then that way, when this stuff tries to be sold, like if they try to take this case and try to sell it like this exquisite, like one box at a time, just randomly, like try to be sneaky or whatever about it, this wouldn't do it now. They wouldn't be able to do anything right now about that. But if that had been serial numbered, both the case, if they try to sell as a case or the boxes or whatever, however they go about it, that can all be linked back. I think that would be a huge thing. I think that's something maybe they
yeah,
need to look into.
yeah.
well, the
My
problem with
dad,
that is print runs. Then you have if you serialize something, unless you
Well,
randomize the
what's the
serial
difference?
number.
Yeah, but right, but what's the difference? Like they put those codes like that all match the same. When there's like at the bottom of the cards, when there's like the variations and stuff, it has a different number.
Yeah. Well,
Wouldn't
again,
it be hard to
the
have a serial number on? You know what I mean?
that goes back to print runs.
a good point.
Just to have that. Just they don't want that. LC, and here we go. Logan to have a serial number. So okay, so you can do it
See?
that way. So
Yeah.
I recant my statement.
There you
Uh,
go.
Another
Thank
thing
you,
is,
Logan.
I know a card shop around here. He has some high end stuff, and he has a humongous metal safe in the back that he
Yep.
locks when he leaves, and take the key with you so that because he's not using them soon. He might use them eventually for a break or something, but he's not gonna take it out the next day. And I think if you take that key home with you and you just have a special spot for it, they're not getting in there. I mean, if you have a
Right.
huge metal safe, but yeah, I don't. It's gotta really stink because that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to add it up, but by the time I'd finish adding it up, I mean, my math teacher would probably just say I'm done with math for the year because that's like a ridiculous amount to add.
Yeah. So I used to work in the physical security access control, all of this entire realm that we're talking about. I used to work in, and it's it's troubling to me because most hobby shops are small businesses. They are mom and pop shops. Number one, excuse my French, it pisses me off because these are small people's, these are families' livelihood. It pisses me off. These aren't people that can go and afford the multi-million-dollar insurance. And I don't care what people say. It pisses me off. But by the same token, I kind of have an idea of what it takes to kind of add a little extreme security. And I'm telling you, it's not cheap. It's it could be anywhere from $100,000 to multi-millions. And it's not like I'm torn. I'm completely torn. I know what it would take to do to help protect, but you still have the idiots that are going to do whatever it takes to break into a shop.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to jump people. They're going to do whatever. My heart just goes out for Bullpen and all the shops that have been broken into.
Yeah,
because they are small businesses and just a guy a family that loves the hobby and committed themselves to the hobby and just trying to make a buck. And you got the unscrupulous POSs. You talk about war. This is my hot button, Brody. POSs that try to take advantage of families with generosity. Stop. It's not the risk is not worth the reward. You're going to get caught. It will happen. And if I have to make it my mission in life, if I have to make it my mission to stop this stupidity and this robbing from families, brother, from Jesus, Holy Spirit, help me. I will make it my mission, because this is stupidity and this is robbing families and it's robbing kids of education and it's hurting our future. Stop.
Yeah, I'm just glad that no one got hurt.
Yes,
like you said, guys leaving the shop for the night and gets tased. That's terrible. I mean, everyone be on the lookout for any 0304 basketball boxes that get sold on eBay, or any hobby shop owners. Like,
yes.
I know people like Rex, just keep an eye out. If they have a box and there's two of them there, maybe ask what their names are and see what they say, or look at the box, because
these people aren't hobby aficionados. Just ask them, hey, chat it up. Ask what's in the box.
Yeah.
Ask a little more in depth and see if they're actually, fans, or if they actually know what they've got.
Right.
Even the flippers
know who are the top rookies who are the other rookies in here except LeBron?
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome. I know it's moral decay in this, but there's more. There'll be more to come. I posted it. I've been talking about it in the back end of the hobby hotline. So it'll come up. Sorry, that's a hot button for me. It has been for a while. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. We've got about a minute and a half. Buster Posey. I wanted to ask Jeff this. You think Buster Posey's Hall of Fame?
Oh man, I knew you were gonna come with something like this. You gotta get in this Hall of Fame talk, man. Man, I mean, he's right there, right? I mean, he's close. He's got to. If he's not, he has got to be close. And it's not going to be up to me. It's not going to be up to you. It's going to be up to the people who vote him in. Do I think he gets in? I don't know.
5-time All-Star.
I mean, I would hope so.
Winner.
I would hope so.
World Series winner.
I would hope so. Does he actually? I don't know. That's a tough question. By committee,
I'm gonna
maybe.
say no.
Right.
I'm gonna say no.
It's right on the edge. You can
Yeah,
go
he's
either way.
right there.
Close.
Right. He's right there.
Maybe Veterans Committee one day. I don't know. He might.
Well, I was doing this. I was doing this. Let's see, share screen. Let's see if it'll pop. Window. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. This thing really gives me fits sometimes on sharing. Well, I did. Here we go. Chrome tab.
What is his war, Diego? Good question.
Diego.
I like that. Take a shot at Brad here before we get off. I like
there
that.
You go. You know what, Diego does it all in love. He does it all in love. So I understand completely. Look at these career stats, though. 302, 372, 831, and 1,500 hits, man. It's just right there. Just right there.
I think he needed to play longer, to be honest. That's my opinion.
Well, they let
he took a whole year off too from whatever injury or whatever, right? Or what wasn't he out a year last year? The year before, before this year, wasn't he out that year before? I'm pretty sure he was.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know. I was sitting here this morning thinking about it and going, man, do you not?
So close.
Yeah.
Oh, but then on the other side of that, right? We look at his replacement now, Joey Bart, and somebody had brought up that question, like, where do we see Joey Bart's cards go? Like, and again, I guess my answer to this is going to be, how well does he perform? Does he fill into that role? We'll see going into this first season. We'll give it a couple seasons. We'll see where he stands and how well he does. At the end of the day, that's really gonna. I mean, yes. There's going to be those people that like overemphasize on things and oh my gosh, Buster Posey retired, Joey Bart, I'm going to go all in. And for some people, it might be the smartest move, right? Real high risk, very young, don't really know what he's going to do. Like, go out and buy his high-end cards and graded cards and whatever and sit on them. But then there's that chance that in a season or two, he's just kind of what do they call those guys that kind of move around with teams and just play here and there? What's the name I'm trying to use?
They stink.
Like a Wisdom. Patrick Wisdom is
Brody with the Heat.
No, there's a name for him. They call him something like
Journeyman.
Players that. There you go, Journeyman. There you go. He could be one of them. I mean, we don't know. It's that's the chances, the risks you got to take. Are you gonna double down on him? What are you gonna do with him? I mean, are you gonna wait and see and pay more for him as if he does great, continues to do great? I mean, that's those chances, those risks we gotta take. That's with anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
we'll see. Since he is catcher, maybe he does get in with those stats because it's pretty good stats.
Right.
But you don't say Buster Posey, Hall of Fame.
Right, yeah.
It's not one
like
of those,
Miguel Cabrera, automatic.
Right.
But if you think about it, and if you kind of go, I mean, he was a key World Series winner against the Rangers. I mean, that's where I remember him all the time. From a little hobby hotline overtime until Brody's dad pulls him off.
Hey, I got nothing to do except watch football all day today. So
there you go.
I gotta get the dog out for a walk soon, but before I hear you.
So Brody,
gotta watch that UFC card tonight. Big UFC card tonight. Any of you UFC fans out there?
What's UFC?
Big card. Ultimate Fighting Championships, baby. Come on, man. Did you have to?
There's my dad joke, Brody. There's my dad joke. So national tickets go on sale, not next week, but at least this month. John thinks it's going to go on sale this month, but
boxing too.
With these coming up, you plan on going, Brody? You plan on not going?
I'm there.
Jeff, you going?
Where is it at this year?
Atlantic City.
Yeah. I wanted to go 2 years ago when it was canceled, when they canceled for Atlantic City. So I'll plan to be there. Hopefully get some of the crew out there with me and meet up with all you guys. And yeah, it should be a blast. So
Yeah,
hopefully
I
do
want a
some
picture
content out
with
there.
with me and Brody.
Yeah, just look for a 14-year-old, 6'1", 210 pounds, and you'll find me.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Look for an R2D2 type.
Literally don't look like you're 6'1" sitting there. You look like you're like 5'8".
Cameron does a lot. Cameron does
Cameron
a lot.
does a
Trust me.
lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I put it in the comments there. Make sure you watch. Those tickets are supposed to go on this month. I've heard rumors of this week. I've heard rumors of next week. You've got general admission, VIP, super VIP.
You got to go VIP. If you go to the National, you got to go VIP. There's no
at least
There's no
VIP.
other way.
At least VIP. Yeah.
At least.
Card stories. Trust me, when I'm at the National, I'll be live. The last National I was at was Chicago a couple years ago. I streamed like 20 hours of the time I was there. I live streamed pretty much the whole thing. So yeah, you'll get some live content from me if I'm out there for sure.
Yeah, I mean
I had really great. Most vendors, most guys selling stuff were great. There was like 2 people that were like, "Why are you filming? Don't film." Showing the cards and stuff. Like it's advertisement for you, man. It's like giving people an idea. Like you're an idiot screaming at me, but okay, I'll move on. See you, buddy. Like there's hundreds, and there's like 2 people that are just I don't get it. I wasn't filming their faces. I wasn't in their face or anything with the camera. I was simply looking at their cards. It's like, okay, you have cards out here that you're showing to 50,000 people coming through these doors at least, and you're worried about me filming out to people, showing people what you have.
Yeah.
Okay, dude. Do you not put your stuff online? Do you not have a website? Do you not? Some people baffle me, but it's all good. It is what it is.
Well, you will probably do our best to be on the main. Can you imagine 20 of us on a main stage? Good grief. That'll just be fun. That'll be loads of fun. Man,
I would be shocked if all 20 make it, but we'll see.
I would be I'm all in. I'm already like blocked my calendar, told the wife that I'm going. Like I didn't ask, I told. So I'm going this year. And your dad will know exactly what that means. But yeah, I am like all in. Cannot wait. Just cannot wait. Just cannot wait.
Well, I know. I think you're already in the chat the other day asking about where's the link. When can I buy them? Like you're ready to pull the trigger like right now.
I am, man, because I don't want to.
Lock and load. Lock and load. Let's go.
I don't want to have to.
So who's the big upset? Brody, who's the big upset tomorrow? NFL.
Trying to think of who's playing tomorrow.
Brody.
I'm sure your Raiders are playing, right?
Yeah, but they're playing the Giants, and Daniel Jones just trips all over the place. I'm actually gonna go Bears over Steelers. I think the Steelers aren't gonna be able to handle Justin Fields. I think it's gonna be a low scoring. I think it's gonna be like I'll be nice to both teams, and I'll say 6-3. It's a fair score.
Wow.
I'll be nice and give them each an extra field goal. Realistically, it'll be 3-0, but I'll give them 6-3.
Wow,
6-3. Let's see. Dolphins, Raiders, Patriots, Panthers. Well, that Patriots-Panthers game, that's going to be interesting because does McCaffrey actually show up?
I'm going to take the Packers over the Chiefs with Jordan Love playing.
Oh, and many people are going to.
I actually agree with you.
Chiefs are favored. Vegas has been wrong a lot lately in the NFL and these spreads and these point totals. They have Chiefs by 7.5 right now, 48 point total. I think Aaron Jones has a monster day.
Yeah.
I think Jordan Love does what he needs to do. Gets it to Devonta Adams. But if I'm looking for a guy to play right now, DFS, that's in a high percentage of my lineups right now, it's Adam Jones. He's gonna beast mode tomorrow against KC's weak defense.
And that the one that sticks out is that Chargers Eagles. The
Yeah, it's a
Chargers,
1.5 point total by the Chargers are favored by 1.5. Another one that's going to be interesting, and we're going to see how real these Tennessee Titans are. Because remember, I know Derrick Henry is out, but the last 2 weeks, Derrick Henry hasn't really been the factor that he's been for that team anyway. It's been heavy A.J. Brown. It's been heavy passing. Yeah, he threw one touchdown pass. He rushed for 80-some yards one game, but that's not a big game for Derrick Henry. We're used to his 150, 200-yard rush games, right? But Tennessee, the Sunday night game, Tennessee at the Rams favored by 7.5. We're going to see how real these Titans are.
Yeah.
See how real. I mean, they've beaten Buffalo, right? I mean, they've beaten, they beat the Colts in Indy. Indy was favored by 3.
Actually, looking at the games now, I'm going to go with the Niners over the Cardinals.
Well, they're favored.
That's not
Niners
a bad,
are favored
that's
by
not a
2.5.
bad one.
That's
not a bad one.
They are favored. And
yeah,
then
Niners are favored by 2.5. Do you
too.
guys know that Debo Samuel? That's another guy, but he's not a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
He's on pace to break like NFL records. He already is through so many games. Like, and you got to remember, franchise Jerry Rice played for the Niners. I mean, this dude is for real, and he's had like different quarterbacks swapping in. He's not having that consistency of one quarterback. Like, dude has been a monster. Monster.
Yeah.
What about so I'll give you one that if it happens, it won't rock, but it'll. What if the Jaguars upset the Bills? What if the Jaguars?
I don't see it happening. I mean, it would be insane, and it could happen because there's always those weird.
If the Jaguars
weird
outcome
Bills,
games. I'll start caring about war.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
I swear I'm gonna block that off, and that's gonna be a promo next week.
Where do you think? Hey, quick question. A good question out there from Canton Card Collector. Where do you think Odell Beckham ends up? I mean, could you guys imagine if he did go to Green Bay?
Buccaneers.
I don't think the Bucs need him. They got Antonio Brown. They got
too many people.
He wouldn't get any.
Maybe KC.
Ravens.
They're talking KC, New England, possibly Green Bay,
Baltimore.
But could you imagine Devonta Adams and Odell Beckham? But again, OBJ has not been the same since like his first couple years. Like,
he froze. He froze.
Here's the thing. I saw a tweet. Of a trending thing with OBJ, and it was gets with a team, super hype videos of all of his great plays, disappoints as usual, and then back on the block, back on the trading block. So be hard to see.
This is a great question from Dan. Dan always comes up with great questions, and this kind of goes through a great big thread that's in trend that I'm seeing in the hobby. Do you think Upper Deck will make unlicensed baseball cards again?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think they're the type of company that, like some people don't feel or don't worry like Panini doesn't care about, they make the images so it looks like, you're not really missing anything with the logo not being there, arms across where the front would be if it's a front thing, back pose where you can't see. Like, I just don't think Upper Deck wants to put out that type of product. I don't see them as that company that does that. I see them as a very, very exclusive, very, whatever. The product the product they put out is very just,
That's what Good Win Champions is for, because they have some baseball guys in there. And I don't think they want to take anything away from Good Win Champions, because I know talking to Carl, and they really like Good Win Champions.
Yeah, so, I agree with Diego on the hockey take.
You've got unlicensed product, in a couple of years. Brian Gray has said, look out, the unlicensed market is about to explode. So
see it.
I'm excited, and I'm seeing it more and more and more where people are okay with the non-licensed, because they do anticipate the logos going away.
I just don't see Upper Deck going there. I don't know.
Yeah.
So you're saying Panini still tops?
Since they renewed their license, I think they're good with where they're at.
Yeah, I don't think they're worried about pulling out any more product or doing anything differently.
Yeah, I see that trend. I see that moving towards, and I'm a big fan of the rated rookie logos. So Donruss is I hope, my knock on wood, is that they expand that rookie prospect and rated rookie logos, and that I love those. So I hope they kind of expand into something like that. The Bowman first, those really key, cool logos on a non-licensed product, and then you can cross. Imagine like a Bowman first football. That Trevor Lawrence, that would be kind of. I mean, for me, that exploration of what ifs and what can be's are kind of fun. So.
But I mean, don't we already have so much expanded just through like Panini and I mean, it's like we've gone through all these products that like Select and that used to be like hobby exclusive. Now they're retail as well. I mean, now like you got all these die cut parallels and colored cards that used to be significant just to hobby products. Now they're all these variations. Now you got 50,000 Justin Jefferson rookie selects. Well, now Select's value is. It's not, because it's over. It's like, it's fine. It's cool for the hobby, but value wise, it just takes it to a dump. It's just, I don't know.
That goes back to Luber's point of a controlled chaos, for lack of a better phrase, where you've got the parallels and you've got that, but controlled as opposed to turning them on and running. That's, I like that, where and even if you take it and you do a serial numbered all the way through, where you've got back in the 90s, Jeff, you had one of 30,000, one of 20,000, one of 10,000, one of 5,000, one of, then you go back to 2 of 3 of 4 of, even if you do something like that, then you've something like that's the type of exploration that I was talking about that you could do and have just the possibilities are just awesome in my mind, are just awesome. What you looking at, Brody?
Oh, I'm just looking at college.
Just like we're trending in
you're
deep
watching
waters,
college football.
deep waters right now. We're trending in deep waters, he says. The overtime.
I'm doing the show and watching college football.
I hear you. Herman bailed early so that he could watch Georgia play. So if Georgia doesn't play,
I'm watching right now too.
I hear you. Well, let's let Brody get back to watching some college football.
Well, first, one thing before I go.
All right.
What's up, everyone? It's Brody the Kid here. I'm back with the Daily Rip. We're open 2021 Stadium Club today.
Did you stuff this pack full? Let's see you actually rip it. You're flipping the wrong person. You got the wrong one on the big
wait, how did that work?
Oh my goodness, the technical producer is messing up the Daily Rip. This is the first messed up Daily Rip of all time. So you have 5 cards in this blaster pack. Cards look really nice. Congratulations to the Braves. I really
should have done one of those Topps Finest flashbacks.
There is J.D. Davis.
There you go.
Dad would probably get mad at me. How about this? Look at that die cut of Manny Machado.
There you go.
That's pretty sweet.
That is sweet.
Then we got Stadium Club Chrome of Ichiro.
That's nice. I dig that.
It seems like I stuffed this pack, but I didn't stuff this pack.
All right, so Brad just said he digs that, so that's where you put it in his stack. No, I'm just kidding.
That was a pretty good pack, I think. That chrome, man, that sweet die cut, man.
That spoiled it, right?
All right, everyone. See y'all later on the Daily Rip. Peace out.
All right, buddy.
Well, then there we go. Howdy, all from Denton, Texas.
Yeah, the Texas Card Dude. This is
your Texas Card Dude.
It's Brad here, Texas Card Dude.
For some reason, I want to imitate Uncle Jesse from Dukes of Hazzard.
And this is your boy Devness45, and we're back with another Playmaker podcast. Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Well, this is Uncle Jesse, your Texas Card Dude.
All right, we're just kind of
kind of goofing off now. That tells us that means that later on I'm going to say you should have ended it early. So on that, I'm going to give my outro, and I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you have any prayer requests, let me know. I'll pray you up. We do care about each other in the hobby. I pray daily. I make sure that my conversations with Jesus and God are constant, and I pray continuously. If you have any prayer requests, let me know. Support your local hobby shops. Support your local card shops. And go ahead, Joe.
Nah, let's go.
All right.
Hey,
Let's
get
go.
us out of here. Team
Have a great
Justin
weekend.
Gaethje.
Bye.
Let's go, baby.
Wow.